Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. This is Beatrice OT. I am your host today with Canada International Work and Study Resource Center. I believe we've been conducting webinars back to back, and we've been talking about preparing for life in Canada. If you're watching the replay, please, I want you to do two things. Take a pen and a paper, because this information you'll be getting is top notch, and I want you to send us a DM in order to start your consultation process. So before I begin, who are CIWSRC? It's called Canada International Work and Study Resource Center. We are your go-to reputable consultancy firm, and we'll help you everything Canada. You're looking to move, you're looking to work, you're looking to study, you're looking to immigrate. We are here for you, and we are RCIC licensed. We are ethical. We bank on integrity, and we'll have some great refund policy. If you're not really satisfied, or if there are issues with your admission and all that, we have airport pickups. We have everything available for you in order for you to succeed in Canada, even while you have succeeded in moving to Canada. We're here for you. So please, I want you to follow us on all social media platforms. I want you to patronize our service, and I want you to take advantage of this. Please share this webinar with someone who this may be of valuable information to. Please, patronize our service. Patronize our service. So we'll move on with the topic. As you can see, unfortunately, the banner did not give me a lot of word, because it had a word limit, so I couldn't type out the entire topic. So our topic for today will be comprehending the various work permits. Okay, so we're comprehending the various categories of work permit that is available in Canada. Okay, so there are numerous work permits. So today it's going to be about work. So if you're looking to work in Canada, then this webinar is for you. Then yes, you are in the right place. So please share this with your friends, share this with your family members who may see this to be of valuable information. And if you have questions or concerns, I will be here. You can always ask me the questions here in the comment section, or otherwise you could send us a DM and we can start your consultation process. So let's go. It's called comprehending the various categories of work permits available in Canada. Comprehending the various categories of work permits available in Canada. There are 6 different types of work permits, 6 different categories where you can also get a work permit. And I'll be listing it, so please take a pen and a paper, so you know where we're going with this. So the first one is the Temporary Foreign Worker Program. We have the International Mobility Program. We have the International Experience Canada. We have the Global Talent Stream. We have the Postgraduate Work Permit. We have the Open Work Permit. Okay, so that's 6. I'm going to repeat that again. And hey, this is Beatrice OT with CIWSRC. Thank you for joining. I see one person is watching. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Because I want you to go ahead and share this webinar with your friends and family, and let me know your questions in the comment section. Okay, so we have the Temporary Foreign Worker Program, we have the International Mobility Program, we have the Global Talent Stream, we have the Postgraduate Work Permit, and we have the Open Work Permit and International Experience Canada. I forgot to mention that one. Well, that one is not really streamlined to Nigerians, because most of this work permits, aside, I will also detail everything as we go in the webinar. There is a specific one. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Please share this with your friends and family. So today we're talking about comprehending the various categories of work, of the different work permits available in Canada. So if you're looking to work in Canada, then hey, turn on the volume and you want to listen, because trust me, these tips, people are paying heavily for this, but you're getting this for free. And that's the reason we need you to use our service, use CIWSRC, in order to move to Canada. Okay, so today is work. Are you looking to work in Canada? Then yeah, this webinar is for you. So the first one on our list is Temporary Foreign Worker Program. So how do you get a temporary work permit? How do you get a temporary foreign worker permit? Okay, so remember, a Temporary Foreign Worker Program, you would have to have a closed work permit. Okay, so the Temporary Foreign Worker Program allows Canadian employers to hire foreign workers to fill temporary labor shortages. Okay, temporary labor shortages. To be eligible for this program, you will need a job offer. Okay, and the employer will need to submit an LMIA to the Canadian government, so IRCC. Right? They have to submit an LMIA to IRCC. So that's International Refugee Canada. Like, those are the immigration officers. They're the ones who give you the work permit. They're the ones who approve your visa. They're the ones who approve your visa, people. So it's exciting, because like, now you want to get a job, right? And you're going to get a job offer. So let's say you have a family. So this is, a lot of people say, oh, getting LMIA is pretty tough. It's not that tough. Yes, If you don't know anybody in Canada and you're looking to work in Canada, it's going to be very tough because the competitions are high. Because in order for the employer to give you an LMIA, they have to make sure that no Canadian and no permanent resident can do the job. So you are the only person qualified to do the job, and that's not easy. But guess what? If you have a friend and you have a relative, welcome to our webinar. If you have a friend or you have a relative in Canada that has a business, they can run the business and say, oh, well, we've not been able to find any Canadian, especially if it's manual jobs, like if it's general labor jobs, cleaning jobs. Most Canadians don't really like doing that, or permanent resident. Then they can send an LMIA to the government. I know a lot of Chinese people who are doing this, by the way. They'll send an LMIA, and then once they fill the LMIA and the LMIA gets approved, they give you the job offer. Guess what? You're coming to Canada. Yes, you are. So it is not impossible. Like, if you don't have any friends and family in Canada, you don't have any relative in Canada, it's gonna be pretty tough. But hey, you gotta put your best feet forward. Looking for a job can be daunting. That's why you have CIWSRC, and we're here to help you get your dream job. So temporary foreign worker program would be under the closed work permit. So because you're going to be working for that employer. And do you know the advantage about this? You could use this to get your permanent residence. So while working for them for the temporary period of time, you could also use it. You've gathered experience, you've gathered Canadian experience, and you can just apply for permanent residency. Hey, people are doing it. And if people are doing it, it's possible. And do you want to work in Canada? Send us a DM today, and we're going to assist you with that process, okay? So that's for temporary foreign worker program. Yeah, the employer has to run the labor in the labor markets. It has to be like about 2-3 weeks, and once they can't find anybody, guess who comes to Canada? They make an LMIA for you, pay your fees, and you're good to come to Canada to work. To work. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? I want to see your comments. I want to see you guys comment. I want to see you guys in the comment section so I know how I'm doing. If you see me clearly, and if everything is good on my end. Okay, so number 2 is International Mobility Program. International Mobility Program. Now, International Mobility Program is different from the temporal foreign worker program where you get like LMIA from the employer and it's a closed work permit. The International Mobility Program may be an open work permit. It may be a closed work permit. And I will explain open work permit. But a closed work permit means you're only working for this employer. You can't work for any other employer. The employer who gave you an LMIA, you have to work with them and you have to fulfill the requirements. It's going to state it in the closed work permit. It's going to state its terms. You have to follow that. You're only working for this employer. If it's for 1 year, if it's for 2 years, if it's for 5 years, you're only working for that one employer. Then they give you a closed work permit. But the International Mobility Program could be an open work permit. You could work for any employer except it's a closed work permit. Now, let me tell you, International Mobility Program allows Canadian employers to hire foreign workers on a Canadian work permit without the need of LMIA. Hey, this one is wonderful. The International Mobility Program, very interesting, right? But this is the thing. The only people who qualify for the International Mobility Program and able to get a Canadian work permit they have to have a sort of economic trade agreements. So your country have to have economic trade agreements with Canada. One of them is the trade treaties, the Canada, United States, Mexico agreements. If you notice, a lot of Mexicans who do like general labor jobs, they probably got in through the Canada, United States, Mexico agreements, right? And then there are some people who are entering Canada as intra-company transferees. So the company are, moving someone from here to there. Maybe their company was in the US and they're coming to Canada. These are people, some people are also on the open work permit, like I mentioned. But for the International Mobility Program, because it's administered with IRCC and the Border Services, CBSA, that's Canada Border Service Agency, and Employment, Social and Development Canada. So there's a form of like an agreement with international bodies. Unfortunately, Nigerian government does not have any agreement yet with the Canadian government, but that does not mean it wouldn't happen. That's the reason why we're all working to ensure we get a good president, because if we get a good president, an agreement can be made, and then the Nigerian can go work on an international agreement basis. So I just want you to know, this is for knowledge. You do qualify though for the temporary worker program where you have a closed work permit, but then the employer has to give you an LMIA. But for the International Mobility Program, you don't have to be under the LMIA because of the agreements and treaties. So you see why it's good if your country has an agreement with another country. That also saves you as well. So just for the information, just know that International Mobility Program is one that is administered by the IRCC government in partnership with Employment Social Service in Canada, and they give foreign workers a Canadian work permit. It could be an open work permit. However, only certain countries who have trade agreements with Canada, intra-company transferees, and economic trade agreements are the ones that are able to get that work permit. Okay, and they stamp they give you your work permit and they stamp your visa. Once you can get a status, you can get a visa, guaranteed. Once you get a status, let me mention that you can get a visa. Please go listen to our other webinars. Listen to our other webinars where we talked about how you can actually get a job, right? I did mention it to students, but even as an individual, even as a graduate, even as a worker, like you're a businessman watching me right now or an investor, you can also watch it and take advantage of it. Yes, you can. And I'm going to be talking about another work permit for investors and businesses as well. So stay tuned, stay tuned. So yeah, listen to our previous, and if you're watching the replay, please follow us on our social media platform. We're CIWSRC, we bank on integrity, we're ethical, we're ICIC licensed, and we're here to make your life easy for a smooth transition to Canada. Okay, so the third one on our list is the global talent stream. The global talent stream. The global talent stream is a bit different. It's a bit different. Nobody really talks much about this one because there's a lot of criteria and technicalities with the global talent stream. The global talent stream is a fast track program. Do you know they could give you the work permit within 50 days? I heard someone said even 2 weeks, in less than 2 weeks, because like you pay $1,000 though in order for you to get a work permit with the global talent stream. So it's pretty not really out there. Investors and businesses actually utilize this one. So the global talent stream is a fast track program that allows Canadian employers to hire highly skilled foreign workers in designated occupation. Welcome. This is Beatrice with Canada International Work and Study Resource Center, and we're talking about comprehending the different work permit categories in Canada. So stay tuned, stay with me. So for the global talent stream, highly skilled. Now, do you know that in the global talent stream, you can be a graphic designer, you can work in Canada. However, it's top notch, because you know you're going to be competing with Canadians who are top-notch graphic designers, civil engineers, electrical engineers. You have to be on that NOC A and NOC O. Please go listen to our other videos to know what NOC O and NOC A. I'm not going to repeat it here. I'm sorry. It's different work categories. Like it's NOC like qualifies the kind of occupation you do, right? So I just want you to know that this global talent stream, if you're an electrical engineer, there are certain occupation codes that are available with this stream, and they will give you a work permit. Now, to be eligible, you need a job offer from a Canadian employer, and you must meet specific requirements of the program. I repeat, to be eligible, you need a job offer from the Canadian employer, and you must meet certain specific requirements of the program. There are two categories. There's category A and there's category B. Now, for category A, you have been referred. You have been referred by the global talent stream by the stream's designated partner. So what are the stream's designated partner? There could be banks. One of them is the Pan-Canadian Bank. There's the Central Bank of Canada. There are tons of them. Please send us a DM so we can educate you even better. There are tons of them. If these people, so let's say the Canadian Bank, recognize your skill, you have a high skill, you're an electrical engineer, you're a graphic designer, and you're so excellent in what you do, they will refer you to the global talent stream. And when they refer you to the global talent stream and you meet the requirements, you'll be chosen. You pay the fees, you're good to come to Canada. Now that's for category A. For category B, they don't refer you. For category B, they don't refer you. The employer has to have an agreement with the Canadian government and then probably select you, but they don't have to refer you. Okay, so there's category A and there's category B. And then, however, you have to still have a job offer. You have to still have a job offer in one of those technical skills. So if you need more clarification, you need a consultation, this is the best time to send us a DM, because this global talent stream is one of the fastest ways to work in Canada. You know you're highly skilled. You know you fall under NOC O or NOC A. You know your skill set is highly sought out for. Send us a DM and we can start your work permit through the global talent stream with CIWSRC. So go ahead and send us a DM and we'll get that started for you. So, and then the fourth one is the International Experience Canada. The International Experience Canada is only available for 30 countries, and those are countries that are IEC countries. So people who are in the UK, people who are in Portugal, people who are in Germany, you know, those IEC countries. Unfortunately, again, Nigeria is not included. That's why Nigerians are fighting for a better president. Because if we have a better president, they would fix these things. There's lots of things that Africans need to do to get on board, right? Like, you see people from the UK traveling to Canada just to get a co-op, and this IEC is just to get work experience. You're not actually going there to stay. People in the UK, they already have their British citizen. They're just going there to just learn about the health system, and if the health field is your field, IEC, they get their work permit. It's usually a poll. Usually a poll they have to fill in to meet the eligibility requirements. You have to submit a police certificate. You have to submit a medical exam and the list of it, and then pay the fees, and you're good to go. But they're usually in a pool. When I heard about the IEC, I'm like, why are Nigerians not included? Because I remember back then when I was younger, when I was in university, I was going to apply via IEC, and they said, oh, no, your country is not IEC. Your country is not IEC. I'm like, why is my country not IEC? This is annoying, you know? So Nigeria is yet to get there, but there are other channels you could use. IEC Nigerians are not among them. The treaty agreement with International Mobility Program, Nigeria is not among them. But however, you can qualify for the temporary foreign worker program if an employer chooses you and believes that you have the skill that no Canadian or no permanent resident can undertake. They give you an LMI and you're able to come together. And please, it is possible. It takes quite a long time to get that job or to meet that employer, but it's possible. Please listen to my previous video when I talked about networking, when I talked about how you can position yourself in order for you to get jobs. It is possible. There are so many platforms you could use. I've mentioned tons of different websites. Today, I'm going to be focusing only on the work permit, different categories. So if you get to listen to the replay of those other videos, please go do. Welcome. I see one person just joined again. Thank you so much for joining. This is Beatrice with Canada International Work and Study Resource Center. We'll tell you everything about Canada, move, work, study, live, in order for you to have a smooth transition using Canada International Work and Study Resources. So let's move on. So I talked about IEC. IEC is only available for the IEC 30 IEC countries. People who are in the UK, they can go to Canada, work, and then go back. And then people who are in Canada can actually go to the UK. Right, so it's not just UK, the 30 IEC. Japan is among the IEC countries. Unfortunately, Nigeria is not among the IEC countries. Yeah, that's why we're routing for a better president. That way, we can get into international opportunities, get into international agreements, get into international exchange programs, so that we'll have our students. Because Nigerians are very bright people. Nigerians are one of the smartest people in the world. Check the stats, right? If these people can do it, we can. We just need a better government to be able to do that. So we have 2 more to go. We've talked about 4. I think I'm going a little bit fast. Maybe I should slow down. Welcome. I'm going to share a story for the next one I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to be talking about the postgraduate work permit. Who is here? I'm going to be talking about the postgraduate work permit. So this is my paper, my cheat. So the postgraduate work permit is it's an open work permit. It's usually an open work permit that the Canadian government issues to an international student who has successfully graduated from a designated learning institute, who have successfully graduated from a university in Canada, and you know, you're doing this in order to gain valuable Canadian experience, right? So when you finish your university, you want to start working. For you, those people who are looking to settle back in Canada when they're done studying, you will need a postgraduate work permit. And there are some certain factors you need to consider. It's an open work permit. Now, let me state this again. An open work permit means you can work for any employer. A closed work permit means you can only work for that employer. So the employer who gave you an LMIA, that's the only employer you can work for. But an open work permit means you can work for any employer. It could be in the hospital, it could be in healthcare, it could be in international trade, it could be agriculture, it could be anything. Right? It could be in the sciences, it could be in the agricultural field, it could be in the media industry. You can work for any employer as long as it's an open work permit. But if it's a closed work permit, you can only work for the employer who gave you the job offer. Okay? So postgraduate work permit is an open work permit because at the time the government knows that okay, you don't have anybody, you don't have any employer yet. So they give you an open work permit so you can go ahead and find the employer and work for anybody. So isn't that a great opportunity? Now the thing about the postgraduate work permit, you only get it once in a lifetime. Please take a pen and a paper. You only get, thank you for the like, thank you for joining our webinar today. It's a pleasure to have you. Please do well to send us a DM with respect to working in Canada and utilize our services. So the postgraduate work permit, you only get it once in a lifetime. It's serious business. So if you know you're doing your undergraduate and you're going to do your master's, it's best you can always get study permits as many times as possible. But the postgraduate work permit, you get it once in a lifetime. So, and it's valid for only 3 years. I did it. It's valid for only 3 years. Now, if the 3 years has expired, they're not going to give you another one. They're not going to give you another postgraduate work permit. However, you have to have submitted an application for permanent residency because the Canadian government uses the postgraduate work permit as a bridge between being a foreign national as a student to being a Canadian, which is being a permanent resident. So it's like a bridge. It's like you're moving from one place to the other. Now, if the postgraduate work permit expires after 3 years, you can get the bridging open work permit. The bridging open work permit is a permit, it's also an open work permit that allows the Canadian government to conclude your permanent residence application. That way, you still have a status in Canada. Are you paying attention, people? Because I got these things, so that's what I'm letting you guys know. Okay, so the bridging open work permit is what you get while the Canadian government is processing your permanent residence application. You only get the work permit once in a lifetime. The postgraduate work, you only get it once in a lifetime. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't get it again. So if your work permit has expired, you're not able to enter the pool, you have to go back to your home country. It's sad. It's sad. So you got to do what you got to do. And that's why Canada International Work and Study Resource Center, we're here for you. If you're having difficulties, you're looking to move to Canada, we're here for you. You can always send us a DM and we will get you all sorted. Okay? So, and cool things about the postgraduate work permit, you get it once in a lifetime. You apply 180 days after your school grades, not after you get your transcript, not after graduation. The moment the school have all your grades in the transcript, start applying for your work permit. And also make sure your study permit is not expired, because if it expires, you need to restore that. Yes, you need to restore that first before you apply then for the open work permit. I had a friend this happened to. Take note of this. This is serious business, okay? Now be ready to pay your fees. Make sure you are actively searching for a job. Listen to our previous webinar on how to get a job. Make sure you are actively searching for a job, because once you get a job, then the work permit starts counting. Now, if you get your work permit and you've not gotten a job, that's not good. That's not good, because the job, the permit is counting. Once the 3 years has elapsed, you got to go back to your home country. Otherwise, apply for PR. So please take note. It's only valid for 3 years. Yes, it's only valid for 3 years, and you only get it once in a lifetime. Now, the last but not the least is the open work permit. Like I said, the postgraduate work permit can be an open work permit. International mobility program can be an open work permit. The only permit that is closed is the temporary worker program, which you get NMIA. Now, if you're sponsoring your spouse to come to Canada, they're going to be on an open work permit. If you're sponsoring a dependent, maybe your son or your daughter to come to Canada, they're going to get an open work permit. If you're sponsoring your aunts to come in, they're going to get an open work permit. And whoever is sponsoring who, be it a temporary worker who is a student, be it a temporary husband, be it a permanent resident, be it a Canadian, they are going to give an open work permit. Okay, so open work permit means you can work for any employer. All you got to do is pay the fees, meet the requirements, and you're good to go. So that's the different types of work permits. People, I can't believe we're done in 22 minutes. So I will open the floor 5 minutes to get any question with respect to work. You're looking to work in Canada, but you've never heard of this different type of work permits. I'm going to reiterate it. So we have 6 of them. We have the Temporary Foreign Worker Program, International Mobility Program, International Experience Program, the Postgraduate Work Permit, the Global Talent Stream, and the Open Work Permit. However, open work permits can apply to any of those, but I just want to make sure it's well defined. That way there are no confusion or a misinterpretation. So if you have any question, my comment section will be open for people. I'm gonna leave the floor for 5 minutes. Let me know your question so I can answer your question. If you're looking to work in Canada, this is the time. There's even a new rule where Canada is actually extending work permits. So please take advantage. Take advantage of this and get to Canada and live your dream and work. It is possible. That's why Canada International Work and Study Resource Center, we're here for you to assist you with your transition process. That's where you don't make any mistakes. So who has any questions or feedback or comments for me to take before I call it a day? Any questions for me? Any questions for me? Any questions for me? Any questions for me? I will be here. If you have any questions. Now, one popular question they usually ask about the postgraduate work permit is, let's say your international passport got expired, right? And you are applying. They only give you the work permit to the validity of your international passport. So it's best just get a 10 years international passport if you can. If you're watching me from Nigeria, you're watching me from Ghana, you're watching me from anywhere, make sure your international passport has the validity of the work permit, because you're gonna struggle. Because if your work permit, if your international passport, expires in 2 years, they're going to give you 2 years work permit. And you have to pay the same fee again. You're going to pay the same $255 again to get another open work permit for 1 year because they only give you 3 years work permit. So make sure your international passport is valid for the duration of your work permit. These are things people don't tell you. I went through it. That's why I'm telling you. I went through. That's what I'm telling you. I'm going to create a content around this as well on my profile. Like, people need to hear this, because when I found out about even the Global Talent Program, I didn't know that there was anything called the Global Talent Program. I did not know that they were designated partners. They are banks. These are people. If you know people in Canada and you know that they're looking for highly skilled people and you're one of the highly skilled people, they can vouch for you. They can refer you and inform EDSA, right? They inform EDSA. What's wrong? They will inform EDSA. They will inform Canada Border Services. Hey, you can come to Canada. So there's so many ways to come to Canada. It's not restricted to just studying. You could work. Like I've talked about spousal sponsorships. So I have Christina Sedu. Thank you, Christina Sedu, for joining this webinar today. I really appreciate it. Please, if you're looking to immigrate, send us a DM. I'll be happy to assist you. So I'm going to take Christina Sedu's question, and I want everybody to see her question. Okay. What are the process to get LMIA? Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, I think did I? Christina Sedu. Thank you, Christina Sedu, for joining this webinar. I really appreciate it. Please do follow us on our social media platforms. Send us a DM, and we'll start your process. Welcome, 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 and thank you again. So she asked a very beautiful question. What are the process to get an LMIA? Please, I will need you to go listen to my previous webinar where I talked about getting a job. You need to get a job. That's the biggest thing. If you are able to secure a job in Canada, that's the first step to an employer. Now, the LMIA, the employer is the one who would get the LMIA for you. So if you have sent, so let's say you've sent your resume, you've sent cover letters, and if you need help with cover letters and resumes, send us a DM. We'll be able to assist you with the service. So you've sent your resume and cover letter. Let's say you use LinkedIn. I always talk about networking. Trust me, networking can save you tons of things. I don't want to, like, networking is very powerful, especially in this day and age. You want to network as much as you can. You don't know who is watching. When you network, they can actually even refer you and make your process less burdensome and cumbersome. So the employer would have to, so you submit your resume to the employer. Let's say you submit your resume to AT&T. AT&T sees your resume and like, this lady, she's very skillful. And let's say you've been networking on LinkedIn and they know you that you've been serious and you've been busy. They've seen the things you've done. They've seen your accomplishments and occupation. They would then run an ad in Canada, the employer in Canada, telling the Canadian government that no permanent resident or Canadian citizen is as sophisticated as you. No one has the technical skill as you do, and you do it so well. And they have to show proofs. They can even show the government your portfolio and say, hey, go check her out on LinkedIn. She's doing an outstanding job. She has these numerous awards. We believe she's the best for our economy. Now, if the LMI is approved, you're good to go. That's all you need. Once the employer gets that LMI approved, you're good to go. And once he gets that, he sends it to you. You fill in your application. You send it through the express entry system. Otherwise, send us a DM. We'll definitely help you with that process because it takes quite a while. And then you're good to go. You get your work permit. It's going to be a closed work permit. Like I said earlier, it's going to be a closed work permit because you're going to be working for only that employer. And please, when you get there, just do whatever they say you do it, because definitely Canada jobs are safe. Just do most of the requirement, because if they fire you, you have to go back to your home country because it's a closed work permit. It's serious. It's a closed work permit. You're going to be working for only that employer who gave you an LMIA. So the LMIA, most of the job is done by the employer before you come in to the system. But the employer has to do that job. Now, a lot of people may say, it's really not as easy to find that job. It's possible. People are doing it. That's all. I always say that networking is one of the ways you can networking. I'm saying this because networking is very powerful. I've had 2 recruiters contact me on LinkedIn. So networking is powerful. You need to make sure what you're doing it really well. Put yourself out there for people to see. Utilize powerful platforms that would put you out there. Utilize websites. I mentioned this in my previous webinar. Canada Job Bank. Canada Job Bank is a wonderful website. It's actually done by the Canadian system. There is Indeed, there's Monster.com, there's Glassdoor, so many places. Now, the second option for you, let's say you've submitted your resume, you're not getting as much feedback, and that's why use our service. We are CIC, we're certified We are ROCIC licensed, which means our regulation, we are regulated by the Canadian system, which we don't do. We're not just any consultancy firm. It means we're regulated by the Canadian government, and whatever decision they tell us to do, that's what we do. So you could use our service to start your process. The second option is if you have a relative that's an employer, or you know someone who is in Canada that has an employer, you could tell the person to please speak on the employer on your behalf, show them your qualification that you're good, and the employer has to run, like I said, the employer has to run it in the labor market, and no Canadian, if they find a Canadian or they find a permanent resident, unfortunately, you don't get an LMI. But if they don't find a permanent resident or a Canadian, then you get it. Hope I'm able to answer that question. Woo! I think that took quite a while. I just want you to understand this in full because MMI is a bit technical, but it's not impossible. Okay, it's a bit technical, but it's not impossible. Any more questions for me before we call it a day? Hope I was able to answer your question. Christina Sedu, let me know in the comment section if I was able to answer your question. Please share this broadcast with as many people as possible because these different types of work permits, I don't think anybody has done it as elaborate as I did, right? Most people just focus on the postgraduate work permit. Nobody talks about you only get the open work permit for postgraduate once in a lifetime. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the IEC, International Experience Program. You know, some people go and submit under the poll and they're not even qualified. Their countries are not IEC. So you got to know that. You got to be careful and know that, you know. So please share this. This is powerful. I don't know if CIWSRC will allow me, I want to actually put this on my own platform to inform people about the different types of work permits so they don't make mistakes and they plan accordingly. And please listen to my previous webinars where I talk about how you plan. I'm actually working on a workbook and I'll be giving this workbook to only people who use CIWSRC. So if you are going to travel to Canada and you're going to utilize service, I'm going to give you the workbook for free. So you can follow me. My name is Beatrice Oti on social media platform, all social media. If you type Beatrice Oti on Google, I'm going to come up on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm everywhere. I'm TikTok. I'm on YouTube. So anywhere you want to find me, you can find me. No excuse. Okay? I'm going to be giving a free workbook on how to prepare your student life. I'm going to prepare a free workbook for only those people who send CIWSRC a message that they're going to be using their service for their immigration. Okay? And I mark my word, I'm going to get the workbook. I'm going to get you that workbook. But make sure you've paid, even if it's 50%, you've made payments, or you're going to be utilizing CIWSRC systems. I'm going to give you a free workbook. Okay? Type Beatrice OT and get to me. I will give you that workbook. Tolulope or Dolphin, thank you so much for your question. Tolulope or Dolphin, I'm glad you came in because I was about to end the webinar. I'm glad you came in. Thank you for watching this webinar. Please do what to share this on your social media platform so that people take advantage of it. This is vital information that nobody talks about. Even the Canadian government, it's on their website, but it's all over the place. You need someone who has gone through it or who has someone who has experience to actually teach you and who have done this. And that's why CIWSRC, we're here for you because we've gone through this. We've helped people to migrate to Canada smoothly. Okay, so send us a DM and we'll start your immigration journey. So this is the question. Thank you so much to Lou Lope. How many years can you study in Canada before you can be eligible for postgraduate work permit? The years doesn't matter, okay? The years doesn't matter. Thank you so much. I love your question. The years doesn't matter. Now, this is the thing. Study permit, you can get study permit for as 10 years, 20 years. You can get that. If you're doing your PhD, your master's, so if you're going to start with undergrad and do masters and do PhD, just do all of them and let them be giving you study permit. The postgraduate work permit, you only get it once in your lifetime. If this is serious, you only get it once in a lifetime, okay? So the best thing for you is if you're going to do undergrad, I just want to make sure I'm understanding your question. You want to do undergrad and do masters, just do them all at once and then get a postgraduate work permit after. The time factor does not matter. If your program is 5 years, they will give you study permits. For 3 years, you can always renew. You can always renew. You can always renew. It doesn't expire. Like study permit, they can. There's always an availability to give you a study permit again and again and again, but not the postgraduate work permit. The postgraduate work permit, you only get it once your name is in their system. You get it once in your lifetime. So that's why you need someone to speak to you. You need a coach. You need proper coaching before you even start your Canadian dream. Like I said, I'm going to be getting a workbook for only people who make payment, 50% payment that they're using CIWSRC to immigrate to Canada. So it doesn't matter about You don't have to worry about that, okay? As long as, so for postgraduate work permits, once you're done your studies, be it undergrad, be it master's, you are eligible already. Once you're done your undergraduate, you are eligible for a postgraduate work permit. Once you're done your master's, you're eligible for a postgraduate work permit. Once you're done your PhD, you are eligible for postgraduate work permits, okay? Yes, doesn't matter. And once you're done school, be it postgraduate, master's, or PhD, you're eligible for postgraduate work permits, okay? Hope I answered your question. Okay, so that will be all. I can't believe this is 34 minutes. I thought I was going to end this 30 minutes. That will be all. So, Lolope, I hope I answered your question. Please go ahead and send us a DM. Go ahead and send us a DM, and let's assist you with the process, okay? Because you don't want to make that mistake. And also, postgraduate work permit is an open work permit, which means you can work for any employer in the world in Canada. That will be all. Thank you for having me. I am your host, Beatrice Oti. I am an international student who transitioned to permanent residence. I travel most times. I'm not in my home country. I'm in Canada. If I'm not in Canada, I'm in my home country because Canada made it possible for me. So it's possible for you to be able to move to Canada using CIWSRC. CIWSRC, we are a CIC license with bank on integrity. We help with smooth transition to move to Canada. Okay, so we help with a lot of stuff. We're ethical as well. We have refund policy. We have airport pickups. We have arrangements for you. If you don't know the roads, you don't know the cities, we have arrangements and all that. All that will be sorted. Just send us a DM and let's start your process. We help you with a smooth transition. As a foreign national, it's pretty daunting. It's pretty scary as well. New home. I remembered back then. I don't know if I have my SIM card. I was going to show you guys. You need to see how naive I was, but I'm more confident now because I know the system. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I will see you on a later day. Bye now.